This week in LatterDay News, a colorful cultural event fills the conference center with energy. The prophet makes one last stop in Asia, and where are they now? But let's get started with the first big announcement about General Conference. The First Presidency announced a format change for the Saturday evening session on April 2020 General Conference, which will be for all members ages 11 and up. President Nelson told members at the end of October conference to expect something unprecedented and focusing on the restoration for the upcoming conference. We can only gather that this might be one of the differences to the standard General Conference sessions, with other information yet to come. In a departure from what traditionally fills the conference center, Luz de las Naciones, the Latino event launched worldwide on the church's websites and YouTube. The live event filled the conference center to capacity and overflowed into the tabernacle for a record attendance of almost 25,000 audience members on November 2nd. Almost entirely in Spanish, the program featured a volunteer cast of over 1,000 volunteers who performed traditional songs, dances, and music. Then an ocean away from Latin America, President Nelson finishes his Asian ministry trip with a stop in Jakarta, Indonesia. He spoke to members in a devotional on this year, which is the 50th anniversary of the church in this country. He reminded members to stay faithful, do family history work, and that it would be up to them to make their country ready for a temple. Currently, 7,500 members make up the country of Indonesia, which has one mission. LatterDay News Temple Update starts in Africa, where Bishop Kosei of the presiding bishopric inspected the Durban, South Africa temple. The temple opens to the public in January. Then, a cutaway model of the Laie, Hawaii temple is on display in the visitor center. The model is the fifth of its kind of temples in the church and took 8 months to complete. The annual pageant stage fitting for the Mesa, Arizona temple has begun. The pageant started in 1928 and is now considered the largest annual outdoor Easter pageant in the world. Finally, in December, the Salt Lake Temple closes for construction for 4 years. Here's what you need to know. The upgrades will help the structure withstand an earthquake. There will be a tunnel between the temple and the conference center that will connect the parking lots. The South Visitor Center will be completely replaced. Next, the old black and white Missionary pocket-size handbook gets a major upgrade. Full of color and loving pictures of Christ, the new handbook focuses more on the principles of true Christian discipleship and loving one another instead of a set of rules. The guide's title, Missionary Standards for Disciples of Christ, fits the new direction for missionaries. Finally, LatterDay News ends with a "Where are they now?" Over 55 years ago, Chamberlain was featured as the main character in Man's Search for Happiness, which premiered at the World Fair in New York in 1964. The film is arguably the most watched of all church movies and was used by missionaries all over the world. Since this time, Chamberlain has taken on a number of roles involving prophets. He says that at 87 years old, he still has people today that recognize him for his work in Man's Search, and he has never forgotten what that has done for the happiness in his life.